So just sit down on your mat in a comfortable cross-legged position. Let your eyes close and begin to become in tune with your breath. Relax your body, relax your shoulders, your legs. Your hands can be on your lap or on either knee. Begin to make deep breaths. Breathe at your own pace, but just try to match your inhales and your exhales to the same length. So maybe inhale to a count of 3, 4, 5, and exhale to the same count. Try your best to empty your mind. Letting free of any worries or stress you may feel, at least for this next hour. Maybe take this time to choose an intention for your class today, for your practice, whatever it may be. Taking this time to relax your mind and body before you start moving. Still inhaling and exhaling at your own pace to that count in your head. Maybe you'll notice your breath is a little bit deeper than it was a minute ago. Before we start removing, just remind yourself of that intention one more time. Try to keep it in your mind, in the back of your mind for your practice. And whenever you're ready, slowly blink open your eyes. All right, deep inhale. Rising your hands up to the ceiling. Interlace your fingers, making a steeple with your 2 pointer fingers. Just your 2 pointer fingers, like this. Inhale up and out through the left side and lean your upper body over to the right. Bringing that right palm to the ground, leaning over with the left arm. Just stretching to the right side. Breathe in through the left ribs. Notice how that stretch feels. Open up your chest if you need to. Raise your chin a little bit higher to the ceiling. Good. And inhale, coming all the way back up to center. And exhale through the mouth. And then inhale, leaning up and out through the right side. Lean your upper body over to the left. Letting that left palm find the floor. You can either keep that arm straight or you can have a little bend in the left arm to deepen your stretch a bit more. Breathing through that right side of the rib cage. And inhale, come all the way back up to center. And exhale, hands to heart. All right, now take both of your legs out in front of you as wide as is comfortable for you. Reach back and pull back the fleshy part of your buttocks on both sides. Just so you can feel yourself nicely rooted in your mat. All right, deep inhale, rising your arms up to the ceiling. And exhale, hinge at the hips. Let your hands, your forearms find the floor in front of you. Just leaning your upper body forward as deep as is comfortable. You don't have to go too far. Deep inhales and exhales. Notice how this feels on your back. All right, and inhale, coming all the way back up. Good. Join both of your legs on your mat out in front of you. Bring them together now. Doing the same exact thing. Inhale, raising your arms straight up to the ceiling. And exhale, hinge at the waist, bringing your upper body forward. Let your arms or your hands find any point on your legs, your shins, your ankles, your feet. Flex your ankles so your toes are facing the ceiling. Remembering to breathe. And inhale, come all the way back up to center. Now bend your right knee. Place your right foot on the other side of your left knee. So it's just right leg crossed in front of you. Take your left arm and put it right back behind you, behind your left hip. Deep inhale, lengthening up through the spine. And exhale, begin to twist to the left side, wrapping your arm around, looking right past your shoulder. For every inhale, feel that lengthening in your spine. All right, whenever you're ready, inhale, untwist yourself. Place that right leg back down on the ground next to your left one. And bend your left knee. Place your left foot on the other side of your right knee. Deep inhale, straightening the spine. Move that right arm right behind your right hip. Inhale, straighten that spine again, and exhale. Begin to twist to the right side, looking over your right shoulder, wrapping that arm around the left leg. Great, and inhale, coming back to center. Placing that foot back down on the ground. Find a comfortable way to come to your hands and knees. You want your palms spread out wide here, fingers wide, wrists directly underneath your shoulders, and knees directly underneath your hips. We're going to start our 6 movements of the spine here. It's a good daily practice to have every day. It's good for your back. All right, so on every inhale, you're going to begin to move your belly down towards the mat and your chin and tailbone up towards the ceiling. So it's going to look something like this. So inhale, belly goes down towards the mat, chin and tailbone up, gazes towards the ceiling. And every exhale, bring your chin in towards your chest, tailbone gets tucked under, round the top of your back. And this moves with the flow of your own breath. So it's at your own pace. For every inhale, just drop that belly. Gaze towards the ceiling. And exhale, round in that top back. Tucking the chin. Notice how this feels in your back. Couple more of these. And then on your next exhale, come back to a neutral spine. Again, with your own breath. Inhale, move your head to the right and your hips to the left. Just alternating side to side. Exhale, head to the left, hips to the right. Inhale, head to the right, hips to the left. And exhale, head to the left, hips to the right. Just continue to do this side-to-side movement with your breath. You can even move your hips in circles if that feels better for you. Just going down the right side, hips touching the heels, and back up the right side. Just move however feels comfortable. You can even bring both your head and your hips to the same side at the same time, forming a C with your body. And whenever you're ready, let that movement come to a stop. Last 2 movements of the spine. Inhale, lift your right arm right out to the side and up over your head. And exhale, sweep that right arm down, right in between your left knee and hand. Coming to rest either on your forearm or all the way down on your shoulder, straightening that arm out. Yep, just like that. You can do a couple things here with your left arm. So you can either have your left arm straight out in front of you. You can have it out to the side as long with your right arm. Or you can even wrap it around your back. So this arm is straight out like that. And then this you can wrap around your back. Notice how this feels on your shoulder. If it's a little bit too intense, you can come up onto your forearm. It helps to give the shoulder a little break. All right, and then if you have that right arm wrapped, just unwrap that arm, left arm wrapped. And inhale, come all the way back up, back to your hands and knees. Unwind that arm. Give the shoulder a little shake. Great. And the other side. Lift your left arm straight out to the side and up over your head. And exhale, sweep it right in between the right hand and knee. Again, coming either onto your forearm or all the way down on the shoulder. And doing whatever you want, again, with that right arm. Either keeping it out in front of you or wrapping it around your back. Yep. Again, notice how this feels on your shoulder. For every pose, each side is a little different. So the shoulder might be a little bit more of a stretch than the other one. So if you need to couple up on your forearms, you can do that. And whenever you're ready, inhale, untuck that arm. Come all the way back up to your hands and knees. Keeping your hands shoulder width apart, just slide your hands a little bit more forward towards the front of your mat. Keep your fingertips spread wide. Deep inhale, and on your exhale, tuck your toes under. Begin to lift your heels up off the ground and your hips up towards the sky for downward facing dog. Just tuck the toes under. There you go. Press the chest back into the thighs. Imagine the shoulders moving out towards the hips. Don't force the heels to the ground. Just let them be wherever is comfortable. Your feet should be hip width apart here. Press the floor away. Just to warm up your legs a little bit, you can pedal your feet, so alternating between lifting each heel up and putting it back down. Your head in between your arms, your gaze through your legs. Hips high towards the ceiling. All right. Inhale, lift the right leg up and back behind you. Straight up back behind you. Yep. Bend the right knee. Do a little twist, so lift the right hip up and back and look towards the right side of the room. Yep. And exhale, swing that right leg all the way through and place your right foot right in between your hands. So now you're in like a low lunge. Yep. Take a peek down and make sure that that right ankle is either a little bit behind or right in line with your knee, but not in front of your knee at all. So you just want to be able to imagine like drawing a straight line, or it's a little bit behind, so you're good there. And inhale, come up to standing. So now you're in a high lunge. So just rise your upper body up. Just stand up like this. Yep. All right, place the heel of your left foot down on the ground. Your right toes are facing the front of the room. Your left toes are facing at a diagonal. You want to imagine you're standing on railroad tracks. So your feet are coming directly out of your hips. So your heels don't necessarily need to be in line here, but they're coming right out in front of your hips. So a straight line here like that. All right, your hips are facing the front of the room, facing towards me. Inhale, rise your arms up towards the ceiling, right next to both of your ears. This is warrior one. Good. And exhale, bring your palms together to your heart. Straighten that front leg. So now both your legs are straight, but your heels and feet are staying exactly where they are. Bring your arms back behind you. You can either interlace your fingers, or you can grab either wrist or grab either elbow, whatever feels most comfortable. Your hips are facing the front of the room towards me, your upper body facing me. Deep inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bringing your upper body down. Just your upper body, your legs staying straight. So your upper body's coming down, yep. Just enough so that your spine is parallel to the floor. Good. Deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Then on your next inhale, come all the way back up to standing. Unclasp those hands from out behind your back. And exhale, bring both hands back down to the mat on either side of your foot. Step that right leg back to downward facing dog. We're going to go through our vinyasa now. So we're going to come back to this a few times throughout the class. Anytime I say we're going to do our vinyasa, this is the set of poses that we'll be doing. So at any time, if you don't want to go through the poses again, you can just stay in downward facing dog or go into child's pose whenever you want. So on your next inhale, come to a plank. So bringing your feet together instead of hip width apart now. Your hands are still flat on the mat underneath your shoulders. Engage your core, bringing your abdomen in towards your spine. Pressing the floor away. Now just shift yourself a little bit forward on your toes. So just like that. Just moving your body a little bit forward, and then bring your knees down to your mat. This is called the 8-point pose. So I can demonstrate a little bit. So your knees are on the mat. You're gonna inhale, lifting your hips up and back just a little bit, just to about this point here. And then exhale, do a push-up motion with your arms and bring just your chin and your chest to the floor. So your hips and your butt are still up in the air. And then inhale, sweep your upper body forward. So now your entire body's on the floor. Your feet are flat on the floor, toes facing each other. Keeping your elbows tucked in. Deep inhale. Push just your upper body off the floor. Just your chest. Gaze towards the ceiling for cobra. And exhale, tuck those toes under. Push yourself up. Press the floor away. Back to downward facing dog. Great. Inhale, lift the left leg up and back behind you. Left leg straight up, back behind you. Good. Bend the left knee. Lift the left hip up and back, twisting to look to the left side of the room. And exhale, swing the left leg all the way in between your arms, placing your feet right there in between your hands. Again, look down, make sure that knee is in line with the ankle or a little bit behind it. Inhale, bring yourself all the way up to a high lunge. So standing up into your high lunge. We're doing the same set of poses we did, just on the left side now. So keep that bend in the left knee. Make sure your knee isn't caving in, but going in the direction of your second to third toes. Knee is behind the ankle or in line with it. Back leg, the right leg, heel is placed diagonal. We're on those railroad tracks again. You're good, just like that. And then just, yeah, you're doing like a slight bend in that knee. Inhale, raise your arms up towards the ceiling, right next to your ears for warrior one. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit, you can look towards the ceiling as well. It's just a little bit more of a challenge to hold your balance that way. And exhale, join your palms together, bring your palms to your heart. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Straighten your left leg now. Wrap your arms behind you, again, either interlacing your fingers, grabbing either a wrist or either elbow. Inhale, lengthening up through the spine, and exhale, hinge at the hips, bringing your upper body forward, crown of the head facing towards me, just your upper body, yep. Just enough so that your spine is parallel. Both your hips are facing the front of the room. Press down and back through that right foot so that you can equalize your weight. It might help if you stepped maybe that foot a little bit more this way. I mean, to hold your balance. I mean, like bringing it like this way. There you go. It might just be easier to hold your balance that way. All right, and inhale, come all the way back up to standing. Exhale, bring your hands back down to the mat on either side of your foot and step that left leg back for downward facing dog. Before we go through our vinyasa again, let's do a little rest. So bring your knees down to your mat and slowly sit back on your heels. Bring your chest and forward down towards the mat for child's pose. You can either have your arms straight out in front of you or down by your sides. Just take a little rest here. Try to bring your breath back down to your normal pace. Whenever you're ready, come back up to your hands and knees. Tuck those toes under, lift the knees up off the mat, hips to the sky, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, move to plank. So your spine is parallel with the floor. Feet are together, your hands are still shoulder width apart. Activate your abs, pulling them into your spine. Inhale, shift a little bit forward, and then place those knees back down on the mat. We're doing the 8-point pose again. So inhale, move those hips up and back a little bit. A little bit more. Good. Stop. And exhale, do a push-up motion with your arms, bringing just your chin and chest to the floor, hips still in the air. Good. Keeping your elbows tucked in, slide forward till your entire body is the floor. Tops of the feet are on the floor. You can still keep a little bit of a bend in your elbows for your cobra. So inhale, chest coming up off the floor. For cobra, gaze towards the ceiling. Keeping your elbows tucked in. And exhale, tuck those toes back under, knees up off the mat, hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Chin. Moving your chest back towards your thighs. All right. Lift your right leg straight up and back behind you. Exhale, sweep it all the way through, place it in between your hands. Again, making sure that knee is in line with or a little bit behind the ankle. We're not on a railroad track anymore. We're going to imagine ourselves on a tightrope. So come up to a high lunge. Place that left heel on the ground and imagine you can draw a line with your heels. They're directly in a line with each other. They're on a tightrope. Again, the toes of your left foot are facing at a diagonal. The right toes are facing the front of the room. Your knee isn't caving in, but going in the direction of your second or third toe. You can take it a little wider if you want. Like bring this foot a little bit back. Bring this foot over. Yeah, like that. Bring this foot a little bit over this way. Yeah. Okay, this time, your hips are facing the left side of the room. Right side of the room. Left side of the room. Inhale, lift your arms straight up and out to the side. Just out to the side. And your gaze is following the fingertips of your right finger, so you're looking towards me. We're now in Warrior Two. Make sure your knee is facing the direction of your second or third toe. Just stop kicking in. There you go. That's good. Deep inhale. Begin to sweep that right arm over your head. Bring your left arm down to find your left leg at any point for Reverse Warrior. Chest lifted, chin lifted, gaze towards the right arm. Good. And exhale, begin to come back to a neutral. Arms halfway up and out to the side, back to Warrior Two. This time on your next inhale, you're going to bring your right arm down to your right leg. Rest your right forearm onto your thigh. Not putting too much weight, just kind of resting it there. Swing your left arm up and around so it's right next to your ears, facing me at a diagonal. And your gaze can either be forward towards the left side of the room or towards your hand, your left hand. And deep inhale, come all the way back up to neutral. And exhale, bring your hands down to your mat on either side of your foot. Step back to plank. Going through our vinyasa again. Shift a little bit forward. Place your knees on the back mat. Inhale, lift your hips up and back a little bit. And exhale, push up with your arms, chin and chest to the floor, just keeping your hips up. Good. And then scoop it all the way through, keeping your elbows tucked in. Entire body on the mat now. Tops of the feet flat, toes facing each other. Inhale, rise up to Cobra, just picking up your chest off the floor, gaze towards the ceiling. Ever hurt your back? You can try this instead. So you can, same exact idea, but you're keeping your forearms on the ground instead. So you're just rising up like this. All right. Deep inhale, and on your next exhale, tuck those toes. Lift your knees up off the ground, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up, straight back behind you. And exhale, sweep it all the way through, placing your your left foot right in between your hands. Look down, make sure your knee is above the ankle or a little bit behind it. If it's not, you can inch your toes forward a little bit more. Inhale, come all the way back up to your high lunge, standing. Exhale, place that right heel back on the ground. Toes at a diagonal, you're on your tightrope again. Keeping a bend in your left knee. Sweep your arms out to the side, halfway up. For warrior two on the left side. Gaze towards the front of the room, following the fingers of your left hand. Chest is lifted. Bend in your front knee just a little bit. Make sure that knee is following the direction of your second to third toe and not caving in. You're pressing down and back through the right foot to make sure your weight is equalized between both feet. And inhale, sweep the left arm up to the sky. Right arm comes down to find your right leg at any point for a reverse warrior. Gaze towards the ceiling. Chest is open, remembering to breathe deeply. And exhale, come all the way forward, bringing your left forearm to your left knee. And your right arm swings around towards the front of the room, right next to your ear. Open through the shoulder. So keeping the shoulder open, like that. Yeah. All right, and inhale, rise back up to neutral. Exhale, bring both feet down to the mat on either side of your foot. Both hands. What did I say? Step that left foot back down to downward facing dog. And then move to plank. You're going through our vinyasa again. Again, if you want to skip it, you can stay in down dog. You can go to child's pose. So if you've decided to do the vinyasa, come to plank. Spine parallel with the floor. Inch a little bit forward, knees to the mat. Inhale, hips up and back a little bit. Exhale, push-up motion with your arms. Bringing your chin and chest to the floor. Hips still up in the air. And scoop all the way forward. So now your entire body's on the floor. Flat front of your feet's on the floor, toes facing each other. Inhale, keeping your elbows tucked in. Lift your chest up for cobra. Chest and chin are open and up towards the ceiling. Good. And exhale, curl the toes under. Bring the knees up off the ground and press back to downward facing dog. And then move your knees to the mat. Another child's pose here. Sit back on your heels. Bring your chest and forehead to the mat. Just resting. You can even choose to do a wide knee child's pose if you'd like. So you can bring your knees as wide as your mat, if that feels better. Whenever you're ready, find a comfortable way to lie on your stomach. Just lying flat on your stomach. Fold your arms out in front of you, one on top of the other. Place your head on your hands.